Greetings, fellow traders. Bubblehead here, and it's time for the lunchtime market wrap for Tuesday, November 3rd, 2019. And before we get started here, please take a look at this disclaimer. Everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. All right, let's take a look and see where we're at the market right here. So our upward trend line has been breached right yesterday. So that was the shot across the bow right as we get below the upward trend line. We put a trend box around here. Look what happened. We gapped below it today. So what is that saying? That's saying we're pretty bearish, right? But the real question is at this point now you have to deal with some gap techniques, right? So where are we gapping to? Well, we're gapping to, right? Lots of support, right? So why do we think we have a lower shadow today, right? So why didn't, it didn't flush because there's some buying pressure in these areas here. So we have a lower gap right here we can get to. So now if we closed bearishly and flushed down and had a big red candle that pushed through these levels right here, we would look to, we would look pretty bearishly on, on the outlook, going forward here. So at this point now, we have to see how we close today and see if we get a 3-day unfilled gap reversal technique to the upside to at least get back in this box, and then we can see how it handles these areas. So pretty very interesting stuff, right? Non-standard, right? Non-standard gap downs off of a trendline breakdown. You don't really see that, right? You don't really see you have the trendline breakdown here. Now, granted, we did gap down this day, and then, or no, actually we gapped up that day and pushed down. So it's hard. It's rare to see a gap down out of a trend box. So watching today's price action is going to be critical in how we close today. Okay, so if it wants to hold these support levels, it may work its way up. So just a real quick note here on the geometric chart. Look where we gap down to the 2018 right through 2019 channel, macro channel, right, that held as prior resistance, resistance, resistance. Today is the first day it's being tested as support. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind, right? So now we can see if it's going to hold this as support, fill this gap, and then kind of work its way down, right? Then it starts to look like 1987, right? The October 1987 crash, right? That type of thing. So we're going to kind of look and see, keep an eye on this, see how it holds these levels. But this might be the new, right? If we start to work way up, this could be the new trend box down here, okay? So we're going to keep an eye on that going forward. Other than that, we had some interesting stuff today. So Roku, on top of a bearish market, had an upgrade, right? We kind of talked about that on the live stream last night, that, hey, Roku might get an upgrade for people to defend it, right? And so it did pretty good today. It had a 15 orb, closed over its pre-market box levels, and gave a nice move up. Some of our subscribers profited nicely from that this morning. And then that's kind of coming down, maybe forming a little bit of a bull flag, really, really slow at this point with lower volume at the 15 orb high. So we had that. Also, Tesla got an upgrade this morning, and Tesla ended up kind of really moving down with the rest of the market and then giving an epic bounce today like Tesla likes to do, right? And that's kind of back in the 15 orb range there, right? And another one that we looked at, we didn't trade this one today, it was Coop. It turns out Coop's options are just awful in terms of their spreads, like almost like sometimes over $1 spread between the bid and the ask. And so this is kind of offhand, but you can kind of see technically what it did. Nice 15 orb break right there, and it's kind of at some resistance here where it found selling pressure in the pre-market. And then other than that, the only other one we were really kind of looking at today was Netflix, because Netflix got a downgrade after being beaten up the other day. Way to beat someone up when they're down. But Netflix came right out the rip, couldn't get down below the pre-market levels and give a real sharp move up, inside 15 up. This is actually a good setup that we have in our group here, right? This inside 15 up to try to get out of the 15 orb, but it still gave a nice move out of there, nice 1-point move out of that trade. Now, other than that, we're seeing a lot of chop today in a lot of things. So SPX is slowly trying to recover here. As you can see, we looked at the daily chart. We had that lower shadow on the day. So we'll see how it holds today. Who knows? There may be some more interesting tweets that come out by the afternoon. But again, we have a big gap above now that could be attacked over the next couple days. So right now there's your trend box up there. And eventually if it works its way up and hits that trend box, then the trend box will shift down here, and that'll be our new level point of reference to use going forward. So appreciate you guys. I hope everybody has a great rest of your trading day. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you soon.